Welcome to episode 9 of the Fat Guys and Friends podcast. Today is a very special episode. We are going to be doing a mock draft for the WWE. The brand split happens next week, everybody. This is monumental. This is a monumental day for WWE, the future of the company, lots of superstars. It should be fun, so we decided we're going to make this basically like a fantasy draft. We've got myself here as a moderator. I'm Colten Bartholomew, one of the co-hosts of the Fat Guys and Friends podcast. On the line, and tonight we'll be representing Monday Night Raw, is fellow fat man, Mr. Logan Wenger. How are you, sir?
Team Raw rules.
Team Raw rules. Okay. In real life, Stephanie McMahon will be the commissioner of Raw. We'll see what happens next Tuesday when they actually have the draft. But representing Smackdown tonight, one of my oldest friends and one of my dearest wrestling friends outside of Logan is Mr. Matt Schefke.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate you having me here. I'm excited to give my input as the amateur professional wrestling fan here. Super excited and can't wait to get down to business.
Just to put it out there, he and my friend Joe have been on my ass forever about not having this podcast together, so...
That's
now
right,
you're
and
on.
here I
Now
am.
you can
Yeah,
quit bitching.
I can't. I have nothing to complain about anymore. No complaints.
Perfect. All right, now we're going to break it down. I'll break it down for how this is going to go. There are going to be 10 picks for each side. After either Wang or Matt makes a selection, he will explain for 30 seconds why he picked that person. We are limiting this to male competitors only because there are a lot of pretty well-substantiated rumors that all the female wrestlers will be on one show. So
It's
there's
not
not
because
really
we're
a point.
sexist.
Right.
Not that
you
we're
should probably.
sexist.
Good thing you're putting that disclaimer in there now.
Yeah, there you go. But it's a very high possibility they're all going to be on the same show, and it's most likely going to be Raw since it's the longer show. So we'll alternate picks, and the first pick will be decided by a coin flip, which I have in my hand. And Wang, since you are the other co-host, you get to call it. Pick heads or tails. Go.
I will take heads.
You're taking heads. All right, Matt, you are tails. Coins up. Caught it. Flipping it. It is heads.
You
Okay.
fucking bet.
Okay.
All right.
That means
Yeah.
Team Raw will pick first. But obviously, just for those who don't know, Monday Night Raw has been the flagship show of WWE basically since the mid-90s. Or even the early 90s. When it
forever.
finally came live during the Attitude Era. It's really when wrestling was taking off. Raw is important, and it's going to be interesting to see how this competition aspect of SmackDown versus Raw goes. But let's get to the fantasy draft. Mr. Wang, you and your Raw team have the first pick. Lots of options, lots of directions. This pick could be, a tempo setter for the whole draft. So, with the first pick of the fantasy draft for 2016 WWE, Mr. Wang, Raw selects at number 1.
The man, Seth Rollins.
Seth Rollins is off the
You
board.
betcha. Because I assume they're going to put the title back on Rollins. Probably a Battleground, if not SummerSlam, I would guess. He's only 29 years old. He's going to be around forever. He had one freak injury. It's the only time he's ever been hurt. And he even said it at the time. He got hurt carrying the company, which he's going to carry Raw or SmackDown, whichever he goes in real life. But he's carrying the Raw brand for me.
I like it. And, I think he's really proven in the last few weeks, being the guy that's bringing up the Roman Reigns thing, that he can be a heel or he can be the most... If they turned him that way, he could be the biggest baby face we've seen maybe since, Austin. And I'm not saying that lightly. He has that charisma. Matt, are you upset now? Because,
Well-
obviously Rollins was going to be a top pick somewhere.
Yeah, Logan, I don't know you very well. I'm sure we will get to meet face to face someday, but you've already proven to be a worthy adversary.
I appreciate that.
It's a great pick, great first pick, and you did set the tempo here for us. I had Seth really high on my board as well, so but I think I can do you one better here.
Okay, now great lead-in. He's already podcasting better than we are.
He's a natural.
For the
Thank you,
Smackdown brand, picked by Matt Schefke, the number 1 pick is...
The number 1 pick is John Cena. I am selecting John Cena with my number 1 pick.
John Cena off the board. Okay,
And,
Matt, break it down.
I put a lot of thought into this, and I decided that John Cena is going to come home to SmackDown, where he made his WWE debut. I believe it was on my birthday, June 28th, 2002. John Cena debuted on SmackDown.
This guy got facts.
He's got facts. I love it.
Yes. And so he is going to be coming back to SmackDown where it all began. As you know, SmackDown, they're going to try and do something new, something exciting, something that hasn't been done before. There's going to be a lot of young guys, I feel, a lot of young talent coming up. And I think he's the perfect person to push them. You know, he's on the kind of his back nine, so to speak, in his career. So he's going to be the perfect guy to push these young guys and make them into future superstars.
I'm with you. You know, from a business perspective, if you're trying to build a secondary live show or a second live show a week, you've got to have somebody that brings the eyeballs. And like they've mentioned a few times last night on Raw, nobody in WWE since the Attitude Era has brought the eyeballs and the merchandise sales and everything else that John Cena has. So if you're going to have a second show a week, it would be very smart to be leading out front with John Cena. Wang, I know you're not the biggest Cena fan, but were you hoping maybe he'd slip down a little bit?
Oh, definitely. I had Cena very high on my board, and I was really hoping he could come to the Raw brand. But it's a hell of a pick.
It was a good pick. And like Matt mentioned, going home to SmackDown, they made a big deal, I remember after his first match, that The Undertaker congratulated him backstage, because The Undertaker, you know, as is known as a shoot and on screen, he was the leader of the locker room.
Mm-hmm. That was a huge nod to Cena. I remember that exact promo too.
Definitely. Okay. So now Seth Rollins and John Cena, arguably the two best wrestlers, are off the board and on different teams. So, you know, won't get to have that, what was it last year, Survivor Series rematch. That kind of got derailed with some of the injuries.
But we're going to see Jon Stewart running down and messing up the match.
Oh, Jon Stewart.
That was fun. That was fun. They should bring in more celebrities.
It was fun. All right. Moving to the second pick for the Raw brand, Mr. Wang. The number 2 pick for Raw is...
AJ Styles.
Woo!
Wow.
I'm doing this as really to break up the rivalry that could be on SmackDown between John Cena and AJ Styles. But really, who doesn't want to see Seth Rollins versus AJ Styles? Because if you watch the Seth Rollins documentary on the WWE Network, Seth Rollins' first ever match was in like a barn against AJ Styles, and he announced that he was going to be the future of the business. So why not have it come full circle and have those two be the two main guys on Raw and feud over a belt in the WWE?
Definitely. I mean, if it came to pass that way, you know that clip would be a big part of the promo package, having that history together. Now, not to discredit the pick, because it's a good pick. Obviously, Styles is one of the best workers in the game right now, and has a lot of hopefully good matches in front of him here in WWE. But he is a veteran. He is a long-time professional wrestler. Are you worried about his age coming and being a factor here, building up the Raw brand?
You have to assume that because I know professional wrestlers take a lot of bumps, they take a lot of wear and tear. But you can wrestle into your 40s and into your late 40s sometimes if you're well conditioned. And AJ Styles appears to be in, no pun intended, but in phenomenal shape. So he could wrestle for a while longer. I'm confident in my AJ Styles selection.
Okay, all right, I like it. We'll move on to the second pick for the SmackDown brand. We've got Seth Rollins, John Cena, and AJ Styles off the board. Obviously, some big headliners there. I'm sure we'll get another headliner here. Mr. Schefke with the number 2 pick for SmackDown. The number 2 pick is...
With the number 2 pick, SmackDown selects Kevin Owens.
Son of a
Kevin Owens!
Kevin Owens is my pick, and I'll tell you why. I I have Kevin Owens really high on my board as well. He's one of the best mic workers that they have right now, as well as some of the athletic things that he can do in the ring for a big guy. It's unbelievable. He sometimes can defy gravity. The other thing, too, I want to mention is that, again, as we heard last night, Shane McMahon is going to be the commissioner of SmackDown. You've seen for weeks now leading up to this that Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon aren't always getting along. I think that could be interesting to have that kind of chemistry on SmackDown together, where he could be the guy to constantly butt heads with Shane. I think they can do a lot of stuff both on the mic and in the ring together.
I like it. Kevin Owens, a guy that had to really earn his way into WWE, and I love how they kind of made that part of his shtick and part of his gimmick is, he's always been underappreciated and everything like that. So definitely could be a guy that leads one of the brands wherever he goes to. And I know, Wang, you are a big Kevin Owens fan. That's for just a touch, right?
I was hoping to get him, honestly, probably around 4 or 5. But when you gave me the compliment, I have to give you the compliment right back. You know your stuff. You're drafting Kevin Owens in the second round.
Thank you. He's going to be the future, and as of right now, I mean, you've broken up the club, so we'll see what happens later on once we get down into the lower rounds. But that was somebody that I had. I've got to do some work on my board here and get some things changed around.
All right. While you do that, we'll move back to Raw, and with the third pick for the Raw brand, Wang, who is the third pick?
I am amazed that he's still here. I am going with the Beast Incarnate, Brock Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar.
Lesnar.
After the decimation of Mark Hunt, he's going to come back to WWE. He's going to annihilate Randy Orton at SummerSlam. And then who knows what he goes from there. But he's just going to be a beast no matter where he goes. And he needs to be on Raw. If he's going to work this part-time schedule that he has, it's got to be on Raw.
I think you're totally right there, because Raw is the established brand. People are used to watching live wrestling Monday nights, and if he shows up maybe once a month or every couple of months and just, kicks ass like he always does, they can get away with that. Obviously, the part-time schedule is an issue there, but with some of the other guys on your board, like Seth and AJ Styles, I mean, you're not going to have a problem keeping headliners at least entertained. So
yeah, whenever Brock Lesnar's on the card, he's basically the co-main event. So I mean, I can have my Styles Rollins match, and then I got Brock Lesnar beating up whoever else I want, and people are going to tune in.
There you go. And Matt, obviously, Lesnar's our boy. We saw that this weekend.
That's right. We were
cheering
there.
very hard during the UFC 200. We watched that together. Were you hoping maybe he was going to slip and be able to sneak him in?
Actually, surprisingly, I had him very low on my board. I'm going to agree with you. Yeah, I think he's better suited for Raw. It is the premier brand as of right now, and I think with his schedule being so part-time, just so unsure, I want guys that are going to show up week in and week out to really establish themselves on the new face of the WWE SmackDown.
I can respect that.
True, and I mean, if you're in that 2-hour block, you're going to have shorter segments anyway than the 3-hour guys do, and if Brock's not going to be there, I'll give you that. I like it. But, all right, we'll move back to SmackDown here. We're in the third round. This is the last singles-only pick. After this, you guys can start picking tag teams, which you decided are going to stay together, although in real life they can be broken up, and I'm sure they will
probably
break up some of them.
Yeah, unfortunately.
They're going to break up some of the key ones, but for SmackDown, the number 3 pick is...
My number 3 pick is The Miz. I am picking The Miz for SmackDown.
That's early.
Yep. And here, the thing is, I think he's one of the most underappreciated talents on the roster right now. His mic work is great as well. He's another true heel for the company. I love his gimmick. I think what he does is great. And he's also only gotten better as the years have gone on with his in-ring ability, too. He can be placed into any kind of situation with any kind of face and just immediately make them better, and definitely has the heat turned on at all times.
I will give you the heat being turned on. And you're right, anybody you put next to him being the super douche that he is, there's going to be heat toward, the other guy's going to be the favorite. But I got to go with Wang's first words. Early in my book, just because, he's gotten better as a technician, but his matches, the other person has to elevate him physically. He can do all the work mic-wise, but once they get in the ring, if he doesn't have one of the top guys with him, it can get ugly.
Well, and there's a lot of main eventers on the board yet. You took a mid-starter.
Well, and as of right now, you guys got to understand, he is the Intercontinental Champion show, so I actually just drafted a champion to my roster. I've got a championship now.
All right, okay.
It's the only thing that elevates the Miz, but other than that.
All right, okay. All right, the Miz is off the board. Jumping back to Raw here. We're at the 4th pick, which is when we decided in the 4th round you can start taking tag teams or stables. So we don't have to break them up because that just creates a little bit too much. And obviously some of the teams that are working together in WWE right now are too good to break up. So we'll see where you guys go here in the 4th round. For the Raw brand, though, Mr. Wang, who is the number 4 pick?
The number 4 pick for the Raw brand is a group that cannot be broken up yet. I draft the Club.
Whoa, okay.
Bringing them home to AJ Styles. The stuff that they're doing with John Cena right now is awesome. The hashtag Beat Up John Cena is one of the better hashtags that I've seen in WWE, who is notorious for some of the worst hashtags in social media. But just imagine if AJ Styles ends up feuding with Brock Lesnar, and then Brock Lesnar destroys the entire club. I'd like to watch that. The club just came over from Japan, and I want to see them together for a long time, so I'm putting them on Raw.
That was the point I was going to make for you. I mean, if you're going to have the club exist at all, they have to be together for at least about a year, I would say, because there's a lot of awareness of who they were in Japan, but there's also a lot of guys that don't know that. So you to kind of build up their heat as a trio, got to keep it together for a while. Yeah. Matt, I know obviously the club's being hot for you. Were they one of your higher groups in your board?
Well, I had the club on here, not as high. I had some other tag teams I thought of first before the club. I think they're equally as proven, whether they're together or whether they're separated. So overall, I think it was an amazing pick too.
All right. Okay. First group is off the board in the club. We'll go back to SmackDown here. Matt Schefke, wrestling aficionado and HOV member. Classic. Classic, man. Okay. The number 4 pick for SmackDown is...
The number 4 pick for SmackDown, I'm going to go ahead and stick with the singles competitors here. I'm going to take Dean Ambrose.
He was Ambrose off the board.
Dean Ambrose was not off the board yet. I thought he would go higher, honestly. He does have the championship as of right now. I could see your guy Seth Rollins taking that from him at the next pay-per-view. We're not sure what's going on with the whole Roman Reigns saga. But Dean Ambrose he's hot right now. The crowd loves him. He's the face of the company as of right now, and I want him to be on SmackDown.
It's a good fit. I'll give you that. I mean, he pops the crowd probably bigger than anybody but Lesnar right now, which I honestly don't get. We've talked quite a few times on this podcast. The Dean Ambrose character is criminally underdeveloped for how good that I think he could be if you gave him some more time on the mic to actually say something more than, oh, I'm crazy. But you're right. I mean, fans like him, and he's hot. He's one of the best workers too. Kind of brings back that more old school brawler style that we kind of seen WWE go away from a little bit here, but kind of harkens back to that as well. Dean Ambrose, solid pick. I think at number 4, good value selection right there. Okay, number 5. We're in the 5th round now. Lots of big people still on the board, But now this is where you're going to start building some depth for your brand, where you're going to find the guys that are really going to, make the best matches. For the Raw brand, Mr. Wang, who is the number 5 pick?
I'm going to tell you right now, I got the seal of the draft. With the number 5 pick, Raw selects Roman Reigns.
Roman Reigns
wow.
at number 5.
Yeah.
Holy smokes.
I don't care about the suspension stuff. It's only 30 days. Even if it was steroids, if it was hard drugs, if it was pot, who cares? 30 days. Randy Orton's been suspended however many times. He's come back to be a huge star. Reigns is going to come back. He's going to be, whatever brand he goes to, he's going to be one of the main guys. And he can feud with Seth Rollins, he can feud with AJ Styles, he can feud with Brock Lesnar, all guys that he's feuded with before. And I really like the work that he's done with Rollins and Styles. So he's coming home to Raw.
Okay. I'll give you that the suspension probably isn't as big of a deal down the line, but obviously we're just fantasy booking here, but you would have to bring him back as a heel. You can't trot him out as the baby face anymore when it's been a storyline aspect of a shoot that he cheated. Or
repackage him. Yeah, I was going to say I had that exact same thought. He was low on my board, but repackage him as the guy who doesn't care that he got caught cheating. Make him a true heel like he should be. Give the crowd a reason to boo him.
They got to do something with him.
Yeah. What they were doing, and maybe, there's the Lesnar style where you just give him a mic worker. Obviously, Heyman's kind of locked up with Lesnar, but give him a manager of some type or somebody to talk for him because
he needs a mouthpiece, and he needs a mouthpiece.
He just can't do it. When he talks, everyone just gets so upset.
I just cringe when I watch a Roman Reigns promo. It's just bad.
So do I. I'm totally with you. Okay. Moving back over to SmackDown. We're still here in the 5th round. Mr. Schefke, who is the number 5 pick for the SmackDown brand?
With the number 5 pick for the SmackDown brand, I'm going to have to go with arguably the hottest tag team right now, and that's Enzo Amore and Big Cass.
Ooh,
God's a good pick.
Right.
God's a good pick.
Yeah, that's, they're new. They're one of the up-and-coming NXT guys, and they're already so hot. I mean, they don't even have to go out there, but their mic work is phenomenal together. They're a great overall tag team, and the fans just love them, too. They booked them in a huge event with the Club and John Cena. You don't get much higher respect than that to be working with one of the guys who has paved the way for these younger guys for the last 10 or so years.
I'm definitely with you there, and obviously Enzo Amore and Big Cass, like you mentioned, younger guys are going to be a building block for a future, and in all honesty, yeah, they're going to be together, but you can just have them be singles competitors down the road, and obviously still having each other's back. But I like the pick. Obviously, a building for the future, but they're already so hot right now. Their intro is the best in WWE right now. You can't get better than Enzo screaming in the mic and Big Cass waving his finger around.
I say it along with them every single time. I can't help myself.
And you hear it in the crowd, so are thousands of other people a night, so solid pick right there.
I like the pick a lot.
Okay. Jumping back over to Raw. We're in the 6th round now. Gotta build up your draft. We gotta build up your stock here, fill out the roster. Number 6 for the Raw brand, Wang, who is the pick?
This is the point in the draft where you need to start drafting people who are going to get other people over. So for that reason, I'm going with the Ayatollah of Rock and Rolla, Chris Jericho.
Oh, mama.
As long as he's in the WWE and not out pretending to be in a rock band with Fozzy, he can do great things in the WWE. He's there to put younger talent over, which he's done with Bray Wyatt in the past. He's done with Dean Ambrose in the past. He's one of the better guys that gets people over, and people still pop when he's a face, and people hate him when he's a heel. So he's one of the best guys in WWE, and I'm proud to have him on Raw.
You're right about the versatility. He can do whatever you need. One of the best mics in the business. He's definitely late in his career.
Yeah.
He doesn't have a whole lot of full-time WWE work left. I know he just signed an extension for his contract, but I think you're right. If you're going to just find a guy that's going to be in that mid-level, maybe secondary title picture, and working with other guys and putting on solid matches, you can't get better than Jericho. He's been doing that role for almost 8-9 years now.
I agree. Like I said, he's just here to put talent over now, and he's one of the best at it.
Definitely. Okay, jumping back over to SmackDown. Lots of big names off the board. I mean, Lesnar went down in the third round. Cena and Styles, Roman Reigns, Kevin Owens. A lot of big names off. Draft. This is where you build out the roster. Number 6 pick, Matt for SmackDown. Where are you going?
With the number 6 pick in the 2016 WWE Draft, I'm going to select, to fill out the roster, the Wyatt Family.
Ooh, I'm shocked that they honestly went this low. Matt, break it down.
As am I. They're here right now. You got 3 guys. First of all, actually 4, if you really think about it, because Luke Harper's been out with an injury for the past few months. But really, you're getting 4 guys here. They can compete in the singles matches. They can compete in the tag team matches. They're just going to terrorize they're going to be the new face of fear. They're just going to terrorize the entire roster on SmackDown. The crowd, right before, they were getting so hot, and at WrestleMania it really peaked with the Rock and Cena altercation that they had. And then unfortunately, you had Harper go down with injuries. You had Bray out with an injury for a little while. So I think once they can get their guys back and they can really start to gain some steam again, they're going to be crowd favorites again in no time. They're one of my favorites right now, so I'm super excited.
I'm with you there. Obviously, the Wyatt family can do a lot of things with Bray on the mic. I'm glad that they're not making him do long promos every week now, because near the end of that run, he started getting a little loopy and it didn't really make any sense.
He got
as opposed to
was the worst part. There's only so many creepy things you can say.
Yeah, great. So
it was long.
Let him do little other things, but
it was long-winded.
I honestly thought they were going to be the first group off the board. Just how good they are and how much potential they have. Because if you think about it, the Wyatts have never gone over in the ring. They're over in the crowd. They're over on the mic, but they've never gone over in the ring.
I think part of that is too they don't let Bray wrestle as much as they should. I think he needs to be back in the ring more, and he needs to win more matches, because you can't get a guy fully over until they start winning matches.
Totally. I'm with you. Okay. Jumping back over to Raw. We're in the 7th round. You can still get some big time guys, but this is where you gotta find some workers here. 7th round for Raw. Wang, who was the number 7 pick?
To counteract all of the groups that have been going up the board recently, I'm going to get the hottest group out there, the New Day.
The New Day stays on Raw.
Yeah, they're the tag team champions right now. I assume they're going to get broken up in the draft, actually, though, because that's how they've been hinting at it with all this Wyatt family stuff going on. But they've saved the tag team division on Raw for the last year and a half, I would say. Between their 2 tag team championship runs and just their promo work, they're just fun guys. They're finally letting Big E be the funny big black man he is. Kofi Kingston's the veteran of the group. Xavier Woods is good at getting heat when he needs to, but he's also a funny guy. So they're just a great group. I hope they stay together, but like I said, I don't think they're gonna.
Yeah, and the fun and funny parts that make them so good are probably why they have to break them up here, because they just need to allow people to be clamoring for them. Because now you can kind of hear it in the crowd. It's not as hot every time the New Day's giant music hits. And I'm with you. I think that the combination of the solid work that Kofi and Big E can do, and then in the ring, and then Xavier's mic work, really puts them all the way over. And some of the skits they've done have been really funny. But
yeah, I think Xavier needs to get more ring time too. It's not like he's a bad wrestler. He's just the young guy in the group, and he doesn't get as much love for some reason.
Yeah, he's just a little inexperienced. You can kind of see it in the matches. And when you're only going to do one full-on tag team match a week, I kind of understand why you just go with the reliable 2 of the 3. But no, I'm with you. I think in this scenario, potentially if they're split up in the real draft, they're probably going to get Xavier on a singles push. But in our draft, all together on Raw under the leadership of Logan Wenger. I like it.
And we're doing, we still get to do the NXT picks, right? I think I'm going to take my first NXT pick. Is that okay?
Ooh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, they're always available. It's a whole roster thing, and I'm sure somebody from NXT is going to get drafted high just to hype up NXT.
They're on my board.
Just have to show my hand here a little bit, and I think now's a good time to jump in the mix.
Okay. We'll jump right to it. Number 6 pick for SmackDown. Matt, take it away.
With the number 6 pick for SmackDown, I'm going to select Finn Balor. I'm taking Finn Balor.
There he is.
Finn's coming off the board at number 6.
7.
Again, this is going back to what they were saying about trying to rebuild. They're going to give the new guys some opportunities. Finn's proven around the world. He's been doing amazing things over in NXT. I think it'll surprise a lot of people that he gets drafted to either show, but I think it is going to happen. It was bound to happen sooner or later. There were rumors that it was going to happen right after WrestleMania. They were going to move him up. They decided not to. But I think this is as good a time as any when you're splitting up the brands and you need that help to bring him on over.
I'm with you, and I think, obviously, as you mentioned, Finn Balor, one of the best wrestlers in the business, just hasn't been on that main stage yet. I honestly think that they kept him down in NXT so they could create this match that they've got going Wednesday with him and Shinsuke Nakamura, which that is going to be a match of the year candidate just for the way those guys are. Without a doubt.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Do a little bit of promotion for NXT. I love NXT. I love watching what they got going on down there as well. It could be a standalone show by itself, in my opinion.
It could, and I know, Matt, you sent me the possibility that Taz has thrown out in this podcast that the first 2 hours of the 3-hour block of Raw would be Raw guys, but then the last hour would be NXT. And
I saw that too.
I mean, that's an attractive option if you ask a lot of fans, because those NXT guys and the NXT crowds are even rowdier than an average Monday Night Raw crowd.
Yeah. Can we just agree that sometimes the wholesale crowd is too rowdy, though? And just
oh yeah, I mean they stop over promos, and that's why these kids come up and they're not ready to promo.
True. Very true.
I'll agree with that.
But okay, moving on to the 8th round here. Still lots of big names. I've got a couple in my head that I'm surprised aren't off the board, but I'm sure you guys will be snatching them up here in the last few picks. We'll go back to Raw and Mr. Wang. Raw, number 8 pick. Who is it? Logan.
We need an undercard champion. I'm going to take that undercard champion here and go with Rusev.
Woo, okay.
With Miz going as early as he did, I was sweating here that he would snatch up both champions, leave me with no undercard title on my show. But luckily, Rusev stuck around. Rusev is a proven heel. Probably one of the best heels going right now. His first U.S. title run when he was running as a heel. I think he did great work, only to be he ran into the train that is John Cena. But then John Cena did good work with the U.S. title. But now again, putting the belt back on Rusev, I think is a great idea. And he's just a good heel. The anti-America heel is one of the oldest tricks in the book in WWE, but Rusev does it almost as good as anybody.
Definitely, and you hit the nail on the head, just especially in the times that we're in right now. I mean, not to make some social commentary out of it, but wrestling always likes to tap into things that are going on internationally and in the world. And if they can, give, some cheap heat to Rusev by just being against America, they might as well.
Oh, and I'd love to be back on at some point to talk about how that's sometimes completely blown up in their faces.
True. I mean, there's examples where they've done that, and yeah, we might have to do one of those. But we'll jump back over to you, Matt, on the SmackDown brand. The number 8 pick, obviously another depth selection here. So, Matt, who are you taking at number 8?
I've got a guy at number 8 that I'm going to take, and he's been out for a while, so this might not have even been on your board at all. This guy is Neville. Neville is coming to SmackDown.
He was on the board.
And I think Neville is coming to SmackDown once he recovers from injury. He was sidelined, I believe it was in March, for an ankle injury. He's going to be coming back soon. Just love the athleticism. Unfortunately, they didn't really give him a whole lot of mic time, but what he can do in the ring is phenomenal. It was rumored that before he had gotten injured, they were going to start booking him in some Intercontinental title matches, so that was obviously put on the back burner, but there's so much potential for him on SmackDown to be one of those premier guys for the show. I think he can do it, and that's my pick.
And, you know, when you mentioned that he didn't get much mic time on WWE, you meant no mic time, right?
I meant zero mic time, and
I don't think I've ever heard that man speak other than, you know, backstage stuff.
With good reason, though, because his accent is so thick, sometimes it's really hard to understand you.
Really? Okay, I didn't see him when he was in NXT, so it always made no sense to me that they pushed him so hard with, you know, the high flyer, and everyone loves high flyers, but then they would give him no chance to build a character outside of it.
No, but I watched him live, and I've seen him before perform, and it's just like some of the stuff he can do, you can't even believe it. So even on TV, it doesn't even give him justice for like some of the crazy aerobatic stuff that he can do.
Definitely. All right, jumping back over to Raw. We're down to the last two picks here. There are lots of big names still out there. I've got one in my head that I'm sure is going to get drafted, but your guys are making me nervous. All right, back over to Wang in the Raw brand. The number 9 pick. Who you got?
I'm going with my NXT guy here, and I'm torn between two of them. I've been clicking back and forth between them on my computer screen here, and I finally made the decision that at number 9, Raw is going to go with Shinsuke Nakamura.
Ooh.
It was really hard. Like I said, I don't want to... I'll say it. I don't care. I was torn between him and Samoa Joe. Because Samoa Joe's champion right now. I assume he's going to get drafted. But Nakamura is... Oh my god, man. You have not seen this guy wrestle. I'm ashamed of myself for not knowing what he did in Japan until he got over to NXT. He has had the match he had with Sami Zayn when he first got here. Even the squash matches that he's had on NXT have just been phenomenal. He's got probably the best ring music in NXT and maybe in the entire WWE. It's just awesome. And everything about the guy is phenomenal, and I think he's going to get drafted, and I hope it's still Raw.
You know, the only thing that I would question maybe, because I know he does speak English, but you might run into the same problem with the Neville thing, where the accent's so thick that it's hard for him to cut an in-ring promo. But you are 200% right about the in-ring work, because you could argue that he's the best worker in WWE right now, and right now is a time where the worker is getting more credit than ever before, I feel like. You've got probably a dozen guys that are just excellent wrestlers that are actually getting, you know, at least high-level Intercontinental title or U.S. title bookings, and really getting the respect that they've always deserved, but just might not have gotten because of the push of the talkers.
Exactly. This is what the brand split should do, is just give more people more TV time, which is what WWE has been struggling with for the last 4 to 5 years. To finally give people need time to develop characters. They're telling stories. You can't tell a story without being on the TV.
Exactly. I mean, you give them a 4-minute squash match, what can you really tell other than, oh, I got my ass kicked?
Exactly.
But jumping back over to Matt with the number 9 pick for the Smackdown brand. Matt, number 9, who is it?
This is just so tough because we're getting down to the last picks. You know, and there's so many still good names on the board, like you said before.
Sure is.
I went young the last few picks, so I'm going to go with a savvy veteran on this one. With my pick for SmackDown, the Viper, Randy Orton.
Okay, alright, he was one of the names that was floating around my head.
Yep.
Okay, break it down.
So, you got Randy coming back. He's going to be on the highlight reel with Chris Jericho at WWE Battleground, promoting his upcoming SummerSlam match with Brock Lesnar. He's, I'm assuming, coming back full time. You know, he's been off since, It's probably been at least in Survivor Series or maybe a little bit beforehand. So, he's had some time off, and I think he's going to get back on the road. He's another guy that I think is going to be able to push these young guys. They're going to be able to do a lot with him. Some of the guys I already have on the roster, John Cena, Dean Ambrose, he'll be able to work in with them too, possibly. I just think there's a lot of stuff that you can do with Randy, and again, he's a savvy veteran, so he'll be able to get the most out of these young guys.
I like the way you're building the roster here, making sure that guys are guaranteed good matches, good promos. I would say Randy Orton is one of the guys that is solid at everything, one of the best in-ring technicians, and very good mic worker. He's gonna make every match seem big. And you gotta have guys like that in your roster. I like your pick.
Yeah, you gotta keep it. You gotta mix it up still, and you can't just have all young guys, or else it'd be NXT. Or I guess new guys. I shouldn't say young, but you gotta mix in some of the veterans with some of the younger guys to teach them the ropes, and then really set them up for success in the future.
Definitely. Okay, we're down to the last picks of at least the 10 that we're gonna do. Obviously, some names are going to get left off just because it's only 20 people, but definitely some top-level guys that are still available here. And if you guys don't pick the guy I have in my head right now, I'm going to scream at you. But jumping back to Raw, the number 10 pick, Mr. Wang, who you got?
I know I said I got the steal of the draft at 5 at Roman Reigns, but I'm going to say I got the steal of the draft now, because at number 10, which I think is probably going to be one of the biggest swerves in the real draft as well, Raw drafts the King of Kings, Triple H.
Okay.
With Stephanie running Raw, I think one of the bigger swerves WWE could pull, because we haven't seen Triple H since he lost to Roman Reigns in WrestleMania. Been off of TV the entire time. Stephanie could pull the trigger, draft her husband, Cole. I mean, I don't think he's going to be a full-time competitor, right? He'll do your big matches. But he did just sign another 3-year performance contract with WWE. So he can wrestle the big events when he wants to. And just teaching young guys, which is really what he's there to do, besides running the day-to-day business as well. Who else can you learn from one of the best ever, Triple H?
And I'm going to say that I don't like your pick just because of what the last part you said. Triple H has really transitioned into that teaching, front office role. Obviously, yeah, like you said, he signed that performance contract, so he's still eligible to do everything. But his leadership role down in NXT isn't, correct me if I'm wrong, he's the main booker of NXT.
Yeah, he's the Vince McMahon of NXT.
Yeah, so I mean, he's got so many commitments there, and I can just see, like, there's a possibility that he just does, big money pay-per-views. He does like the big 4, but I don't know. So would expect Triple H to be a guy that helps build watchability and the credibility of the brand. In 2016, I'm not sure.
I respect the pick.
It's a star power. Really.
I respect the pick. I think it brings to light the fact that anybody in the WWE is eligible for this draft. And this just reminds me of the draft, and I don't recall the year, where it was Paul Heyman going up against Eric Bischoff, and I believe it was one of the last picks that they showed on air. Eric Bischoff actually drafted Paul Heyman to Raw. So he drafted the GM to Raw, the GM of SmackDown to Raw. So yeah, I think it's a swerve. I wasn't expecting it, but I actually like the pick.
Okay, down to our last pick, and we're down to you two might get screamed at. So, actually, you know what?
Bart's a good screamer.
I can already guarantee you guys are getting screamed at because there's 2 people that haven't been drafted that are in my head right now that deserve to be drafted. So, all right, Matt, pick whoever it is that you got, because then you're gonna get yelled at.
I feel like I know who it is you want me to pick, and I think for that reason I'm just not gonna do it. Just to get under your skin here. this guy, I've got two guys still left on my board that I'd really like to draft. It's a shame that we don't have 2 more hours to go through the entire roster.
We could draft entire rosters. It'd be so fun.
It would be.
We could, but
that would be great. But I'm going to go with my last pick. It's not going to have all the bells and whistles on it that you guys might think. But with my last pick, I'm going to draft Sami Zayn.
Okay.
He is still on the board here. He's going to be reunited with his buddy Kevin Owens, who they've just been getting along swimmingly on Raw and SmackDown over the last few months. Sami Zayn he's a top performer. I just don't know what they're really doing with him right now, other than booking him with Kevin Owens, which it's magic. I mean, those two have worked together in the Indies for 10 plus years or however long it's been. And every time they're in the ring together, it's just magic. So I like him coming to SmackDown with Kevin Owens. They can literally turn that feud on and off whenever they want, and the crowd's going to love it. But I think you can also do some other interesting stuff with Sami. And they're just into him. He's another guy, I think, that has that entrance music that everybody loves to, kind of hum along to as well. Overall, my other pick would have been Cesaro, because he's still on the board as well, the Swiss Superman. But I think Sami Zayn has more charisma, and he's a little bit better on the microphone as well.
All right, since you mentioned him, then I'll just yell at you instead of scream at you. The fact that Sami Zayn fell to 10 is absurd to me.
Yeah.
And I liked a lot of your guys' picks, but I mean, man, Sami Zayn, how good he is and how over he is. And then Cesaro, who, J.R. Jim Ross always says that Shelton Benjamin is the biggest whiff that the UFC or that WWE ever had because of the talent that he had. They just never booked him right. They're on that path with Cesaro right now in my mind. Yeah, he's in the Intercontinental title picture, but he's never been close. And I understand his mic work isn't there, but his performance every night is so good. The fact that he hasn't gotten up that main title picture is just that's just a bad look to me.
Yeah, I'm amazed that Cesaro didn't get drafted. I'm going to say that I'm an idiot and forgot to put him on my draft board. Once he was mentioned, I turned white. Like, oh my god, how did I forget Cesaro? So that's on me.
Yeah, I was going for the shock and wow factor on a couple of draft picks and probably looked over a couple of the main roster guys that have been there for a while as well.
We're trying to get ratings here, Bart.
Yeah, well, exactly.
Cesaro polls, man. But, alright, to recap, we'll go Raw first since they drafted first. Number 1, Seth Rollins. 2, AJ Styles. 3, Brock Lesnar. 4, The Club. 5, Roman Reigns. 6, Jericho. 7, New Day. 8, Rusev. 9, Shinsuke Nakamura. And number 10, the swerve of the draft, I would agree, drafting Triple H. And for SmackDown, top pick John Cena. Number 2, Kevin Owens. 3, The Miz. Probably the most questionable of all 20 picks today. Number 4, Dean Ambrose. Number 5, Enzo Amore and Big Cass. 6, the Wyatt Family. 7, Finn Balor. 8, Neville. 9, Randy Orton. 10, Sami Zayn. I gotta say, just reading those names again, SmackDown is the much younger brand of the two, and I would say that's probably going to be accurate to how it's going to go in real life. I feel like they're going to give SmackDown a lot more of the hotter performers just to pump their numbers up the first couple of months.
Well, we put our GM hats on and thought like a McMahon. We'll see kind of what happens.
I like it.
Are we going to do
Yes, we are. I was about to say, I'm going to throw a swerve at you. I know I talked to Wayne just before we came on the podcast, but in WWE, the commissioners are Shane and Stephanie, but they're going to pick their own GMs. So now I'm going to make you guys. And since you got to go first with the picks, Wayne, let's throw it over to Matt. Matt, if you were having this SmackDown roster, who would be your GM?
That's a great question, and I like it. It's completely, it threw me off guard last night when they said that they were going to have GMs and commissioners. So it'll be interesting to see what kind of a dynamic they have as far as who makes a lot of the decisions. They've teased over the last few weeks some former general managers who have previous experience running a roster. I know it's all for show, but I found it quite entertaining to relive some of my childhood watching some of these people growing up. And I think that someone who would balance Shane out, because Shane is the crowd favorite, people pleaser, but I think he also knows that there's a business that they have to get done. Some former GM that they have not brought out yet. I would like to select Eric Bischoff to come over to SmackDown and things.
Hot dang,
Yeah.
Okay.
He's got the experience. Again, they didn't bring him out for any teasers at all, because I think everybody that they paraded out beforehand is definitely not going to be someone who's going to get the GM spot. But Eric Bischoff, he's great on the mic too. He knows what he's talking about. He knows the business inside and out. Not currently doing anything that I'm aware of, so hey, why not?
All right, I like it. Switching back over to Raw. Apparently SmackDown will be run by Eric Bischoff, and you'll be having feuding front office guys with Bischoff and Shane for sure. To Raw, though, run by Stephanie / Logan Wenger, who is the GM.
With the same dynamic that Matt went with Shane being a people pleaser, you need a heel GM. I assume Steph is going to revert back to her heel tactics, thus needing a face GM to run the company. I'm going to go with one of my favorite GMs that I remember growing up. He wasn't even really a GM, but he's going to be a GM now. I'm going to go with Sheriff Stone Cold Steve Austin. Running around on the ATV, stunning people, laying down the law, having a fake badge, giving people the business.
Yeah.
I love it. And they were also in a feud, Eric Bischoff and Stone Cold.
Exactly, they could rekindle that too.
No, I'm throwing it out. Stone Cold's not coming back.
No,
He makes Stone Cold makes more money doing his podcast sitting in his office at home than he would being on TV for Raw.
Even if it was just one night a week, driving around in ATV and drinking beer.
He wouldn't want to do all that crap. Like, pick somebody that's active, or at least a little more feasible than.
Make it be okay. So, I don't remember the last face GM we had. There hasn't been a good guy GM in forever. So, I'll do this. Since I have Brock Lesnar on my roster, I would say that Paul Heyman would be GM. And then kind of swerve things towards Brock Lesnar, giving him title shots and stuff. That could be a cool dynamic.
Yeah, and I mean, he would generate heat for everything, and if Steph's not going to be on the screen, I mean, somebody that comes out immediately everybody hates but listens to and then somehow turns around for. I like
He's
it.
also the guy that and he doesn't have a problem traveling. I know that was your issue with Stone Cold, but he can be there every single week, and he does do all the promos for Brock Lesnar. So why not?
Yep, no, I'm with you. The other option I was going to say that could maybe be a face would be a man that I hate, but apparently the fans seem to like in the times that I've heard him come out, would be Corporate Kane.
So, I feel like Kane's going to be on the main roster wrestling, though. I don't think he's going to transition.
Oh, no, I think
GM
you're on there. I think he's out.
We left Kane and we left the Big Show out. I just didn't want with the Big Show.
They're both done, though. You
Yeah.
guys are smart on that. Those guys, they're done. I think at the end of this summer, or no, excuse me, at the end of next summer, their performance contracts are done.
Yeah, it wasn't.
That'll probably be the last we'll see of them, I assume.
Yeah, and Big Show said, and Big Show has said on the Stone Cold podcast that he's going to be done whenever his contract is over, this current contract, he's out. So, okay, well, that was the 2016.
We'll do it.
Yes, 2016 WWE Draft on the Fat Guys and Friends podcast. Hope it was entertaining. Hope you guys like it. And Wang, take us home. Tell the people where they can find us.
Still furious I couldn't have Stone Cold be my GM. Whatever. We're on Twitter at Fat Guys, capital N as in Nancy Friends. On Facebook, Fat Guys and Friends. Email us at fatguysandfriends@gmail.com. And we're also on iTunes now. So like, download, subscribe, show it to people. Help us get famous.
There you go. Matt, thanks for being on with us, buddy. Hope you liked it.
Yeah,
This was so much fun.
Man.
Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate being here. I look forward to hopefully coming back again real soon.
Definitely. I think when we're going to do some NFL previews of some of our teams, I think you're going to be our Bears guy. So
I will gladly. I think a lot of people will want to listen to a rational voice. of mine from a fan's perspective on the Bears.
Definitely. All right. Thank you for listening, everybody. We will be back hopefully sometime later this week or next week, depending on when we run this, because we got time. We got some special editing that we want Logan to do, and it'll be even better for your earballs.
Goodbye, people.
Goodbye.